All right, I'm back. We're back from Brisbane, and you can see it's a bit cold, very different weather. I'm going to do a debrief. So, I'm going to talk about Brisbane itself, I'm going to talk about the race, talk about what's going to happen next. So, let's start off with the actual experience of Brisbane. Love it. Brisbane is amazing. It is, if I could move there, I probably would. Lovely little parks, a ton of greenery, great running tracks, fantastic, lovely weather. People were wearing puffer jackets, and it was like 15 degrees. We're actually walking past South Bank, and at the cafes, they had gas heaters on. It was teens, and it was gas heaters. Here I am, wearing a jacket. It's almost 12 o'clock. It's 10:30. 12, not 12, quite 12. It's 10:30. It's still like 5 degrees. Like, we went and did our shopping a couple of hours ago. You couldn't see a single thing because of how foggy it was. I was rugged up. I had 3 jumpers on. Overnight it was -2. Like, that's the sort of weather you have gas heaters. Not when it's like 12 to 15. Anyway, fantastic weather. Really very big stark difference over there versus here. So highly recommend Brisbane. Now, we stayed at something called Royal on the Park, and it was like literally right on the Botanic Gardens, right on the finish line. It was amazing. If I ever go back and do Brisbane the Brisbane, I will be staying there, even if we don't race. That is where I would want to stay. It is so good. It's a bit old, but in terms of how close it is to the amenities, how close it is to the race, highly recommend you guys check that out. In terms of the race itself, now if you followed the last couple of weeks, you'd see what my goal was, 1:45. You can see that, I tried really hard in the race, just missed it, 1:46:30. So I got to cut 1.5 minutes off my time. I reckon it will definitely happen in Canberra. So I'll talk about a bit what's going to happen next, a bit later. But in terms of the race itself, it went amazingly. So I stuck to my pace, I stuck to my power. So let's have a look at the splits themselves. So prior to the race itself, I was told, my stride said, that in order to do a 1:45, I needed to do about 232 watts. Now, if we have a look here, you can see that, so if you have a look at my screen here, you can see, so 1:46:29, but each split, so 336 watts. So that's 4 watts higher than what I should have, needed to do. 508 per K, 338 watts for the second 5K at 5 minutes per K, 333, still 3 watts, a couple of watts higher, 339, 368. So not a single split was under what I needed to do. But 508, 459, 458, 429. So you can see I got faster and faster as the race went on. Cadence was pretty good, 180, 180, 180, 180, 182. It's exactly identical. Perfect metronomic cadence. Heart rate as well, you can see it slowly build up. 156, 167, 167, 170, 177. So slowly and steadily, slowly increasing the effort level. Now, the first bit was very lumpy. So that's when you could basically go over the bridge. And then the second bit was when we go up here. Not quite sure where that was. But that's basically pan flat for the rest. So they kind of tricked us. They said it was 100 meters of elevation, but you can see here, 143. 143 is now 100. So could I potentially have actually done better and done a sub 145 if it had been pan flat? Things to think about. Very much something to think about. But one thing I found very obvious was I was just absolutely falling behind on the hills. So you can see here, this is the hill section here. So let's zoom in up to the top. And you can see my pacing. So was it saying 511 per K? But you can see my pace slowly fall down. But people were passing me. As I was going up, people were absolutely just passing me because they held their pace. So as I held my effort level and my power, they held their pace. But one of the issues a really big issue I had was these downhills. So let's have a look at this one here. So this is as you come off the bridge. So I just let it go. I just went like let gravity take hold. So I went. I didn't even put too much effort in, but you can see 351 watts, 330 per k. Look at this. I'm going 330 per k down the section here, and everyone is just, they're going at their normal pace, you know, running. I'm just like flogging it down. I'm just throwing myself, not putting in any effort. Like I'm literally going like 400 watts, which is, it's more than probably I would like, but like, and you can see then, so I'm going super fast, 315, and then all of a sudden I got a slam on the brakes and dropped down to like 5 minutes per k. And then I get past people, and again I start speeding up, 340 per k, 338 per k, because we're still going downhill. Like, it's just dodging all these people. And that's probably one of the things I didn't really like about this race was, so in the half marathon itself, there was about 6,000 people, but the half and the full all started together. So there was 16,000 people in this race. 16,000 is a lot of people, and just 6 in my race itself, but everyone was crammed together, so it was so tight. It was just like there was not a single section where you didn't have 100 people around you, which is good. It's good to have lots of people around you, but I'm a bit self-conscious. I don't like filming myself, so it's pretty tough when you're there with your camera, and it's like, yeah, just don't look at me, guys. Like, just let me film, just let me do my thing. But then when you come to sections like this, like, as I said, everyone was passing me on the uphills, and then I just got blocked in on these downhills. And so probably lost 10, 15, 20 seconds just, getting through all that. And, again, as you come up, there was another bit here, and again, people are passing here, because, like, you can see it's pretty consistent, very consistent sort of power zones. I showed it here, 336, 338, 333, 339. Literally, the first 20k is within a couple of watts. So, 338 is the lowest and 339 is the highest, 6 watts, which is within probably like the error band, within like 1%. Like 1%, no, it's 2%. It's within 2%, my highest and lowest 5k. So you can see I'm going basically bang on, identical pacing. But as obviously you can see, same pacing, 508, 559, 58, 558, but slowly increasing the pace as, you go from hilly to flat. So it was a good race. I had a great time. Would I do the full distance? Look, probably not. I don't think I'll do the full distance of the Brisbane, just because it's a lapped course. So it's 2 laps of the exact same course. I just don't think I can mentally do it. It's one thing doing one lap, one very big long lap. Maybe you go past the finish a few times, but like when you do the exact same course again, it's just not for me. So I don't think I'll do the Brisbane half, but I have had a look, and I think maybe. So let's talk about what's happening next. So in terms of next races, so the next one is going to be Canberra half, and I've got like 5 months to train for that. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'll be doing a marathon in April. I've already filmed a video, it's coming out probably the week after this one. But it's going to be talking about like potential races I'm looking at. So there's probably 4 I'm looking at in Australia in about April. If you guys have any suggestions, please drop a comment below. Tell me what I should think about applying for. But April is where it's going to be. And then when I'm thinking about like where my next one after that, so say that's 2027, but then 2028, because I only want to do one big travel per year, because I don't have money. I don't have infinite money to afford this, because this one trip costs three and a half grand, because there's the 3 of us. There's me, my wife, my son. Everyone's got plane tickets. We got to pay accommodation. We got to pay race entry, food, everything around it. So 3.5, 4 grand. So realistically, I can do one sort of travel a year. Canberra's a bit different because it's basically just down the road. I can drive in. It's an hour. But so that's the thing. So 2027, I'll do something in April. Not 100% certain which one it'll be. but I'm looking further ahead, so I haven't fully decided. I'm 99% thinking 2028 I'll do the Gold Coast Marathon, because that looks like what everyone seems to be doing. It's very nice and flat. It's fast. It'll be nice and warm because, I said before earlier, it's freezing here. Like, what a great welcome back. You go from being basically in t-shirt and shorts to being 4 layers, 4 jumpers. So completely different scenario. I would love to just leave to get a chance to go away in winter again, escape the cold. So 2028, I'm pretty sure I might do the Goldie, and then 2029 Sunshine Coast. Now, one of the things that I have trouble with at the moment is, because I'm so slow, is doing these like winter and spring sort of marathons, because you got to train in the cold weather. You got to train in the early mornings when like there's no sunlight. So here at the moment, so it's the 8th of June. I'm filming. It's a public holiday. We're coming close. I think probably when this video comes out, it'll be pretty close to the winter solstice, which is basically the shortest day of the year. And then it's going to get slightly lighter. But training through that winter is so tough. Sunrise isn't till like 7:10. And so like when I've got all my family, all my responsibilities, I basically have to be done by say 7:30. So if the sunrise is not till 7:10, and it's patchy light as well. So 7:10, and then I've got to be back by 7:30. It means like I get 10 minutes of sunlight. So doing 3.5 hour long training runs is just really not ideal. But as I get faster, because I did a 1:46 yesterday at time of filming. That is a 13-minute PB. In a year's, when I do my April marathon, is that off can I do a 3:30? Can I just double this? Maybe 3:30. But then when it comes to 2028, maybe I'm sub 3. Maybe I'm 2:45. So the sort of training hours required to do that is completely different. I'll probably still do 3.5 hour long runs, but maybe I don't need to do that every week. Maybe I can do a couple of 2.5 hours. And then it's a bit more manageable in winter and in the cold and the dark to do those sorts of long runs versus these 3.5 hour, runs. So that's something I'm kind of looking forward to in a couple of years as I get faster in terms of the short-term training. So at the moment, I think, so ever since Canberra Marathon, or even before, so when I got injured with my Achilles, training basically just died. So February, when I got that injury, basically till Canberra Marathon, 3 months, it's been horrendous. It's been pretty poor quality. So the fact that I've managed to do like a 13-14 minute PB on poor training for 3 months and then kind of patchy for the last 8 weeks is I'm very impressed with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with this healed. And so I'm going back to my old sort of style of like the 6-day block. So today I've got a rest day, as you can see here, and then I'm going easy 35 minutes tomorrow, back into an envelope, a tempo run, 45 minutes, 35-minute easy, 5x5 a threshold, and then easy long run, 1.5 hours. Now, when it comes to that, so I'm going to slowly build up. So previously, prior to Canberra, my long run, my weekly easy run was about 1.5 hours. Now, until Canberra half in November, I'm going to keep it easy. 1 hour is where it's going to max out for my weekday runs. Now, I'm going to get to 2.5 hours pretty quickly for the long run, but I'm going to keep the efforts at around about 2 hours and then easy at 2.5. So I'm going to keep the intensity contained. I don't know if I'll get back to 100k weeks very quickly. So you can see here, it says I'm doing about 40k this week on 4 hours. I don't know if I agree with that sort of pacing. We'll see what we do. But you can see I've got 4 hours of training planned for this week. Now, and then I've got a gym day as well. So because of sort of the last couple of weeks, I haven't been able to recover as well as I would have wanted. So I talked about this in probably a couple of videos ago, but I did my super long big week here on the 18th of May, And this is where I did my sweet spot, sort of 1 hour 45 at sweet spot. I did not recover. I just could not recover. So it was a 70k week. But then you can see the week after, I just couldn't do it. I was supposed to do 2 strength sessions. So this one was supposed to be here as well. I just could not get out of bed that day. This one was, you can see, as tough. I felt weak and it was hard. And then I had to skip 2 days of running as well. And then I was going to do my my final, I guess, long run. My final effort long run was going to be here. But again, I was sick and I just couldn't really recover. I think it's because there was too much intensity in this week that when it came to this, the 1 week out, 2 weeks out, I just couldn't do it. So I'm really glad I managed to hit my goals and my, what I wanted essentially. Yes, I'm a minute and a half out from 1:45, but it's pretty close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dial down the intensity. So I'm still slowly building up on the treadmill, so more the harder efforts, but I'm going to maintain around about a 6:45 on the treadmill on my easy runs. And I'm going to stay there probably about 6 months. I'm just going to make sure to build the strength in the legs, build the endurance, turn it from a mid zone 2 run to like a low zone 2, top zone 1. So make it really, really easy. Same for the long runs, so an hour and a half. So previously I was doing, so if you have a look at, say, this one here. So this one I did a 50-minute warm-up. I then did an hour at 260 watts, an hour at 270 watts, and then I cooled down for 15 minutes. But I'm not gonna do that just yet. So I'm not gonna go back to this 270 watts. I might keep it more down in the 255 to 260. So the lower end. So just as I said earlier, just try and keep it more that I'm able to recover, that I'm able to put in the proper training, the training every single week, and just build and build and build, and especially with the strength stuff, make it all work, because I don't think I've been able to do it definitely not the last 8 weeks has been tough, and definitely the last 3 months before that, but since Feb, I have not done a proper week of training since Feb as far as I'm concerned. So looking forward to really dialing it down, focusing on building that base as strong as I can before I then go back into like really hammering the paces. But yeah, so that's the next stage, is Canberra half and then a race in April for the next marathon. So, focusing now, I'm so keen to see what we do. Can I not just go 1:45? I'm a minute and a half off. I cut off 13 minutes over the last 6 months. Could I do another 13 minutes? Maybe 12, maybe 15. Can I go sub 1:30? 16 minutes would be 1:30. That would be pretty cool. That would be very cool. But we'll see. We'll have to see. I don't know. Now, Canberra is very hilly. Now, I said earlier that Brisbane was 150 meters of elevation. So, it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's really flat. Because from my sort of training, anything that's under 1% is so 1% is normal. Anything under is flat. So if I have a look at, let's show you that, that 2.5 hour run. So it was 22k, but it's 270 meters of elevation. As far as I'm concerned, that's pretty standard. So I was pretty normal with that, but that's, you can see 230 meters. That's double what I did just the other day. So I think I had a look to the Gold Coast is like 50 meters total of elevation. It's nothing. Sunshine Coast is 100 meters as well for the marathon. That is, the marathon is 100 meters. So what I just did yesterday in the half is what I'll do the full. So it's half the absolute elevation. So super fast, which is exciting. How fast can I get? Now, I'm really impressed. I'm going to have a look because I've got it on my phone. So prior to this event, my sort of estimated paces. So on the 30th of May, so about a week ago, my projected half marathon time was a 1:48:03, marathon 3:51. I don't know if I did the proper taper in, because on Saturday I did a park run and I smashed my 5k time, and then so it jumped. So possibly I could have done a 1:45 if I hadn't done the park run, because I absolutely smashed my legs. I did like a 20 sub 24, not quite 100% sure on the pace, on the exact time, but it was a 24-minute park run. Not too bad for me. That's my fastest. I got a PB on the 5K. I got a PB on the mile on Saturday, and then on Sunday I got a PB in the 1K. I got a PB in the 10K, a PB in the half marathon. Over the last over 2 days, I got every single distance basically as a PB. So obviously the training is working. Very excited for that. But on the 30th of May, my projected was a 148. Then when I have a look at what happened after the 5K on Saturday, it was a 143. Now, if I then have a look, because it's obviously updated again, now it's a 141. So because the data is based, it's only as good as what you put in. Because I don't really I don't do these hard efforts, it's mostly focusing on the lower end of the zones. It doesn't really know what I'm capable of. And so, 148 to 143 to 141. So how close can I get over the next 6 months? Exciting. Also says my marathon is now 337. Definitely sub 4. And that's my goal for next year. So could I get that to sub 3 next year? We'll have to see. But exciting times, exciting metrics. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens over the next couple of months. Now, I do want to say a massive thank you to Bruno and his friends for hanging out with me on Saturday and Sunday. It was great meeting you guys. Anyone else that was out there, it was great to be there. If you ever see me, always reach out. Happy to have a chat, happy to hang out. It's so cool to see you guys there. Now, I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.